Let's do some drywall. Hello everybody, today we're doing a simple job fixing some fist holes in a wall. Somebody punched the hole in a wall. Very common job, happens more than you think. First things first, get the area masked off. Always mask off your area, put down some plastic tarps, whatever you have. This is a spray texture, so I don't want the texture other parts that I'm not gonna repair, so I like to use a masking machine. Of course, not everybody's going to have a masking machine. If you can, you want to put some plastic up or something here to kind of contain the overspray. Whenever you do spray knockdowns, spray splatters, the texture will spray past your work area. So sometimes you always have to mask them off or curtain off the area to contain your overspray. So some plastic on the floor. I just like to mask off the baseboard area, put some plastic down, get it all tacked up. Once you get your masking done, then you can go ahead and cut out the area. This is 2 patches in the same area, so I'm just going to install 1 patch. Some people just like to already cut the piece of sheetrock to size and then use that piece of sheetrock as a template, just pencil it off. Or you could just take a level or a piece of wood like I'm going to do and just pencil it off and then cut out the area. Cutting out sheetrocks, I always use a razor blade, a sheetrock knife, razor blade. You can also use a keyhole saw. If you try to use a sawzall or other tools, you are going to create a lot of dust. If you're trying to eliminate dust, then using a razor blade is your best step to use. Once you get it all cut out, if you didn't cut it out center of the stud, you're going to have to add backing. Backing, you can use anything. 1x2, 2x4, wood sheeting, whatever you have. There's also these metal clips on the market. Those clips are all right, but they're kind of expensive. So it's easier just to get a scrap piece of wood, and you want to use a piece of wood a little bigger than the actual patch. And you want to make sure you have a piece of wood on each side of the patch, either top and bottom or side to side, not just a piece of wood in the middle. You can't have the patch rocking and rolling on the sides or the top and bottom. If it rocks, the patch rocks in place, then more likely it's going to crack out. So you're going to have to get screws on both sides of the patches. Once you get the sheetrock in place, since this is a deep patch, I'm going to go ahead and pre-fill it. I'm using a hot mud, 5-minute mud on these patches. If you haven't used hot muds before, then just stick to a joint compound. Once I get it pre-filled with a hot mud, I'm going to follow it through with a fiberglass mesh tape. I'm just putting the fiberglass mesh tape over the seams. You want to make sure you get fiberglass on all the cracks, seams. I'm basically just doing this vertical, piece, bunch of pieces vertical. Instead of doing vertical pieces and horizontal pieces, it's easier on these smaller patches just to go the tape the same direction. So when you coat it, you can go the same direction as the tape layout, so the tape doesn't try to peel up on you as you're running your mud knife on it. Once I get it all taped up, I'm going to just follow through with the first coat. First coat, I'm using another 5-minute mud, the same pan that I used to pre-fill. I'm just going to do a tight coat of first coat. You can use a 10-inch knife or 12-inch knife is preferred. Just do a tight coat. If you're using a regular joint compounds, you're going to have to let the joint compounds dry overnight. With the hot muds, you're going to have to let it set up. You don't let the material fully set up. This is a 5-minute mud, so I got to check on it in about 4 to 6 minutes. Once it's starting to set up, I'm going to have to slick it out. You're going to see me in between these 2 coats. I'm going to be slicking it out with a 6-inch knife and a wet sponge. This is the proper way of using hot muds. You have to slick out in between coats before it dries. If you put on hot mud and you walk away from it and it dries and sets up, you're going to be in real big trouble, and it's going to set up like a cement on the wall. And it says you can sand it, but you do not want to have to sand hot muds. You want to slick them out in between coats before it sets up. You're basically manipulating the material. If you ever worked with cement and stuff like that, it's the same principle. As the cements or materials start to set up, then you start manipulating it with sponge, water, stuff like that. So that's all I'm doing right here. I'm messing with a quick set muds, basically like a cement, but it's for drywall muds. Once we get it all first coated, going to slick it out, then second coat, slick it out, then we're going to follow through and do a spray texture. This is just a spray knockdown. I'm just basically doing this whole part of the wall. Since it's corner bead to corner bead, round bead to round bead, I'm just going to do this whole area in the middle and just spray it. And then I'm just going to knock it down lightly. I'm just going to knock it down with a nice, straight, clean 6-inch knife. Knock it down, clean it up. Once it's all cleaned up, you're just going to let the knockdown dry at least for 24 hours. Before you paint any type of knockdowns, you usually want to lightly sand it. Sand it with a 150 grit to 220 grit sandpaper or a fine or medium sanding block. Then primer. It'll give your texture at least a day or two to dry, and then you can sand it, primer, and paint. Basic, simple video on patching holes. I also just posted a video prior to this, pretty much the same thing, but it was doorknob holes, 2 doorknob holes. But this one's 2 fist holes. So it's pretty much the same job, same routine, same step process. So you can jump in my videos, you'll see the step process in patching holes, pretty much the same process. On a 1-inch hole or 1 sheet job, it's pretty much the same process. But hey, plenty of other videos on the channel. Please give me a like, comment. Simple video, easy patching job you can do yourself. Hey, thanks for viewing.